For centuries in Africa, and Uganda in particular, tomatoes are a significant component of the dishes served on dining tables irrespective of one's status and locality. This is because of the good taste rich in vitamin A and C diet. However, many people just find tomatoes ready for consumption and labelless to know the steps through which tomatoes undertake before appearing on the market for sale. For 1,000 years, Ugandans have been actively engaged in farming that has led to reduction in soil fertility. There is need to seek alternative means of best ways on how to boost the soil fertility of their farmland. This can be made through setting up manure deposition pits. Wycliffe Nahabwe is an agronomist at National Farmers Leadership Center NFLC, funded by the South Korea through her embassy in Uganda and the government of Uganda through a Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry, Fisheries. He emphasized this fact.
What you are seeing here is a compost pit. And you know, the most problem which we have, in fact, in our country is our soils. Our soils are too much depleted, and we have to teach our farmers how they can make manure or how they can enrich their soils to get better yields and better products. A big part of Uganda, especially like the central part, we are unlucky. We don't have many animals which can give us manure. So what do farmers do? They have to look for some means of making manure to enrich their soils. So what you are seeing here is a compost pit, and we are stuffing it with all the materials which can make manure to enrich our soils. Here we have things which we collect from the farms. We have a mixture of crop harvests, those debris. We have green grasses. We have byproducts of mushroom. We have the byproducts of the poultry. So we mix it up here and we make the manure which we make to enrich our soils. In fact, much of our fields don't depend on inorganic manures or fertilizer. So we do this, and it's what helps our plants to grow.
Limit of the farmer, he can start as early as possible the process of growing tomatoes for rich yields, including harvesting. He can start by setting up a reservoir of organic manure by declaring garden materials such as coffee husks, cabbage remains, and other decomposable farm materials. Wycliffe is an experienced agronomist in vegetable growing. He does narrate how a farmer can engage himself in processing organic manure.
It's almost ready to be taken to our fields. As I said, we don't really depend much on the inorganic fertilizer from shops. In any case, it is expensive, and farmers cannot manage it. So we encourage them to make this so as to enrich their soils. When you are in the animal department, you saw something called indigenous microorganisms. We use it even here. Because that thing, it doesn't work only in animals. It is used even to break down. It is the natural thing. They are natural bacteria which break down all the things you see. Even if you die yourself, they are the things which will decompose you and you turn to soil and to manure. So we also add it here to quicken the decomposition, and then after that, we take to the field. Even in the fields, we apply it along our fields, and then they multiply in the soil and enrich it and make the plants better to take it up. Some water, then we add some fresh soil, then we add green matter, then we repeat the steps until we make the required thing we want. Then after that, cover it, add some water to speed up the decomposition, then wait. This thing you are seeing here is our thermometer. Don't think that someone drove it there just unnecessary. No, it is a thermometer. So every time we come and draw it out, you can feel it. It is now warm. By the way, this one is almost decomposing. But when we have just put it, after like 3 days, you'll find it hot. It can even go to 60 degrees. Very hot. So when you find it hot, you know that the decomposition is taking place.
We set off to the greenhouse, which Wycliffe has advised us to be a nursery bait area. But what are we going to find there? At a distance, Wycliffe tells us that in the greenhouse and inside is a nursery bed of various vegetables, including tomatoes. From there, we seek to first understand the various steps undertaken during tomato growing. In the first place, the farmer prepares his garden before any planting. Tomatoes grow best in temperatures of 20 to 27 degrees Celsius. They prefer well-drained soil because they are sensitive to water logging. Towards the end of the land clearing process, a farmer plants tomato seeds in the nursery bed for breeding.
Seedlings is very expensive. We had to devise some means which farmers can use on their own to make healthy seedlings. So what we are using here is a mushroom media mixed with some little manure, especially poultry manure. Then we sterilize it. Because these seedlings are like kids, they are like young kids, so we sterilize it to make sure that there are no soil-borne diseases. So when we sterilize it, we cool it, then we bring it here, and it's where we make our seedlings, here in the trays. From here, when the seedling is old, you take it straight to the garden, and you have a healthy plant. You cannot have a healthy plant when you have poor seedling. So this is the source. They are like young children, so you have to make sure that it is healthy. Farmers face it hot down there because they do it in the open. So pests come in, disease come in, hailstorms come and meet them, and in the end they end up with poor seedling, and in the end they get poor crop and poor yield. So this is how we grow. Must be healthy also. I told you it is young. It is like you see a young kid, how a young kid is looked after. So the seedling also must be looked after. You see how it comes out? So you take the whole thing like this and plant. You have not damaged the roots. It goes intact with the soil which contains it, and there is even some moisture there. So the seedling just takes off. It does not go back, because when you break these roots, others have to grow. And that will stress the seedling. It won't establish properly. Again, you have created their wounds where disease can pass and attack. So here it goes intact and it takes off. It doesn't spend even a week before you see it bringing some other good leaves. So farmers can take up this innovation. It is very good. If farmer groups can really, these trays are not very expensive. They can do it on their own. And even we can make seedlings, but at a cost for a farmer.